The following video was pre-recorded on twitch.tv/codedman9000. More information on the stream times at the end of the video. Previously on Stone to Space.
For the start of Chapter 3, we went to Kerbal Space Program to learn how to make rockets so that we could explore the stars for a new home. We began playing on career mode while not knowing anything about what we were doing. After doing some research off-stream, we then moved to the science mode with newfound knowledge. We went to both moons, created communication networks, planes, science missions, a space station, and then ended the game by traveling all the way to Duna in the Antari ship.
After arriving at Duna, our ship the Antares fell apart, causing us to land on Duna and mine its resources so that we could fix the Antari ship. We unlocked various buildings, and also different types of science. After fixing everything but scanners on the ship, we then left the planet behind us as we continued to travel in space. Hello and welcome to a Twitch Plays Along series called Stone to Space. Today we're in Chapter 3, Space Travel. Today we are playing Oxygen Not Included. So, I was trying to figure out, at one point, something, and now I am spacing out on what it was going to be. We were having an issue with power, and part of the issue is that I took away all of the steam turbines in some small areas so that we could have the heat from, like, the geysers here just dispersing into the atmosphere. And what was the issue with that? I forget. Makes a lot of steam, obviously, it turns into water, but then that shouldn't really cause us an issue. Everything else is a double liquid lock with oil on the outside. I really don't remember what our issue was. What I should do is mop everything over here. We dropped the majority of all of the water. We are slowly working our way over here. In an attempt to keep this clean water and drop the other liquids. I really don't remember what our issue was in the last stream. We have food going up. We're gonna have to create a debris chiller at some point. Hold on a second. There was a new update, wasn't there? Because I've never noticed the debris icons when they say that something was delivered. That's neat. We're not getting any of those. I'm really spacing out on what it was. It was an issue that I talked about in the last stream, and then while I was working, I realized it's not actually an issue. We can just keep going, and that's something I'm going to create in the future is going to help with all of this. So I'm thinking it's just the amount of power we don't have right now from the fact that we don't have steam turbines is going to be counteracted by the amount of petroleum generators. I think that's what it is. Liquid sulfur. How did that become liquid sulfur right here? Oh. I need to know sulfur's overheat. Melting point is 115. How do you keep debris cool over a long distance? Is it as simple as just keeping it in insulated tiles? It's either that or we're gonna have to like massively drop its temperature as it comes out and then cool it down again to make sure that it stays cool. We are also still digging out the entire asteroid. We are working on taming this water geyser. All it needs to do is start filling up this tile. It shouldn't get stifled until it starts filling that tile. This is at 162, but it should still have room. The moment it makes a third tile, I think that's when it stifles. Because it should be able to produce a little bit. And then it'll tick over to being a full tile here, but that little bit should fill in these tiles. Not too sure with liquid geysers. I know it's that with the gas geysers, once there's 15 kilogram, not 15, 5 kilograms in that tile that it releases at. Yeah, I don't actually know how to fix this. For the sulfur. Because we can't keep it cool in here. Because we would need a steam turbine in this area in order to take the heat out of here and keep it below 115. Well, actually, the steam turbines wouldn't even keep it to 115. They only run at 125. So no matter what, the steam turbines aren't going to help us. Yes, an update happened. Is today the day or am I too soon? I don't know what you mean by is today the day. It is not our anniversary, if that's what you're asking. Our anniversary is going to be on Wednesday. How do you transfer debris through steam without it overheating? I genuinely do not know, other than to make an insulated tile run the entire length of the conveyor belt. Today that the day that you do the thing to make the thing to make the other things to make the thing and it makes the thing. Yes. Oh, here we go. And it's still filling up. Okay, so this is one of the things that we use to make another thing that can be tied in. We're gonna go a little bit further this way. Luckily, this little bit of water is keeping the gases from mixing, even though it doesn't really matter. And I was going to say we don't have to build this tile, but I realize it's because of this. I want to be able to dig this out. So we do need to keep going over. But before we even get there, it's going to release water. This debris really is a thing that I need to fix now rather than later. Unless you guys have an idea for a different way of doing this, I am going to just do insulated tiles down this entire run. New emotes? No, those are subscriber emotes. At least I think it is. The Stone to Space one, that second one that you posted, shouldn't be subscriber only, but the horse one is supposed to be like a Trojan horse icon. Because when I first made... I'm trying to load Twitch. When I first made the ideas for what our subscriber badges were going to be called, the 3 different tiers, they were all different, like, viruses. If I go down to here... the first one is Trojan Horse. Tier 2 is spyware, and then Tier 3 is a worm virus. So it's supposed to be like each tier is a worse virus than the previous one. And the Stone to Space one is a subscriber emote. Wow. I did not know that. The flash drive one is not a subscriber emote. It used to be, but I moved it to being just follower emotes. So that's why it's part of the raid message for subscribers only, because that's the only time you can use it outside of our stream. And not many people have used it, so don't feel too bad about it, Gino. I got many ideas. Some might be good, some total jank. God tier is Windows. Yeah, but Windows transfers heat, so that wouldn't really help us in this instance. Our issue is right here, also going vertical. So I'm going to be cutting off most of this base from the right side. Although it is going to be going into a debris chiller in the future. So I could just cut off... I have this as our main run going from here. We could just cut off this portion downwards. Right here is going to be a gas destroyer for in this area. When this builds up too much carbon dioxide, the vents won't work, and we need to keep the vents working. So this bottom one's going to be killing off carbon dioxide. This top one's going to be killing off the steam that's going to be being created by the polluted water in here. All right, so we're gonna go with this. Windows is a PC. Oh, operating system. Okay. Updating wrecks everything, not Windows tiles. Oh, true. That would be funny. Having a Windows update as the tier 3 virus. If I go to here, what goes through here? I think it's just wood, right? Or is it coal? It's coal. It would be a lot more difficult to move everything over than it would be to just move all of this vertical. We can't do that because there's a wire there. So it's going to be one tile for it to heat up. Why did we go so far downwards to go back up? We could have just went straight across here. I am going to cancel that. I'm then going to grab one of these made out of steel and put that right there. Have fun being in the cool kids club. What's next? How much cobalt do we have? 7 tons. We can't do much with 7 tons of cobalt in terms of what we're building. So we can place all that in. We can delete the bottom wire, which should give us a little bit more than what we put in back, because we're deleting an extra like 6 or 4 tiles of power. But hopefully this keeps it from overheating too much. Oh, that is going to slowly push the atmosphere out of here, so the chlorine will get out of here, and then we could open this up. The aqua tuner could help heat up this area as well. How did they do over here? I was partially waiting for this. Did we put the liquid... Oh, we didn't put the liquid pipes in there. It's actually not difficult to get in here, because we didn't dig this out yet. Let's deconstruct those 2 tiles, so we can hop down here and place in the pipes. And I'm hoping that the insulated liquid pipes won't become superheated over time. I should be able to get in here. Because for those that don't know, insulated pipes do not mean that it will never transfer temperatures. It just means it slowly transfers them. So I think over time, the water that's coming out at 95 degrees could heat up enough in this steam that it becomes even more steam before it even gets up to here. I might be able to go just straight up into this area. Huh. Oh, they did all the cobalt in here. We can collect a bunch of cobalt ore. Let's get all that. We'll also be picking up the salt that's in there. Another blueprint. Ooh, Weezwort. I'll always take those. Now, I am waiting for power. And power is going to... nothing inside here. Is it even attempting to load another transformer? We have no suits being powered. I also have this here, which I think I was preparing to deconstruct. Make it look a little bit neater. Okay, so it is somewhat turning on the Atmos suits. It would never, if you make insulate, these will induce people to not believing. That's true, ceramic would help a little bit better, but I don't really want to make that much ceramic. How would I make insulation? I used to remember how to do that. All of a sudden, I'm not remembering. Starvation. We don't have any food out here. Alright, let's cut off from here and hope that that will turn on this next for a quick second. Okay, of course it fills up that transformer, but I'm hoping after that it'll turn this on. At least long enough for us to get a jolt of power into here. Otherwise, I'm gonna need to put a generator. How close to starving to death are you? You have a cycle to get food or you're gonna die. Where is Ari? Ari, you're gonna be allowed to have... Yep, right person. You're gonna allowed to have meat. Who is that? What is that? Royal bug. Royal bugs should be in here. You know what? I'm just gonna do this. Turn this to 4. And also turn this to 4. That... changed this one? No, it didn't. Because I did not press enter before I clicked on the other one. So it should be a 50-50 here. So if I wrangle that royal bug, we will then kill all the others. So we can get a little bit of meat for Ari to eat. Apparently we got a little bit of power. No, wait, this doesn't run off of power. I forgot. What it does run off of is the fact that this isn't powered. Maybe 281 medicine. Because a smart battery doesn't tell you to stop. Yes, it does. What? Oh, no, it's saying that it's not full. because it's not powered. Okay, they're going to be making extra stuff. Why is there an egg here? Oh, because this has sunbug eggs in it. We really do need to get this power going. They have a lot of things prioritizing being built. I want that done first. This area. I'm going to dig all that because we can reach it with the current ladders. And then we'll work our way top down over here. Insulate is a pain to make. That's probably why I don't remember how to make it. Now Wubby is starving. I'm gonna put a generator up here and hope that we can put this together. We're gonna have to make it out of iron. Okay. I waited for them to put the iron thing in so that I can go like this and cancel that. And that. Put this on a 7. Now this should give us enough power occasionally to put food out here. Or at least to pick it up. If we're lucky. We might have to put another person on here. Why is there polluted water in here? Who peed? Should I put another person? I think I should. Let's put another one of these out here. I don't want it changing to steel. Why did it change to steel? Is this made out of steel? No, it's made out of iron. That's weird then. Connect them together, cut that off, turn this on, 7. If we're lucky, this will be able to at least bring stuff out. It is awesome, so that's going to work over time. So that means we can go up to consumables and take you off of meat. Everything else looks right. No bristle blossoms. None of this stuff. Yes to that. Alright, that'll work over time. Yeah, eventually we'll have things turning on down here. Unless we can't get out because of our suits. Connect you back in. I'm gonna leave that like that. It won't hurt it. Okay, that should have given us some suits, I would have thought. Enough oxygen be made. We're in an even deeper problem than before on power needed to be making more power. Because this area is not really keeping those running non-stop like I was expecting it to. This is idle. Not overpressurized. But this isn't going to turn on. Wait, it should be. That shows a power, but then it says 0 power available. Okay, I think that's just a visual glitch thing. So without water being processed through here... Oh, this just needs to be turned on. I am gonna go like this and hope we get a burst of power in there. Maybe if I turn that off. There's nothing outside if you're producing power. Suffocating. How are you suffocating, yo? Don't tell me this. Do I open it up, chat? Do I overpressurize the base again? I definitely do think we need to put another one of these back here on the suits so we can at least get out and start working on the other stuff. They're not going to really fill up with oxygen, because a lot of these suit docks are empty, since this isn't really producing anything. I think I saw one of these pop up on for a second. If they could run one more time, I can cut off the power and then it won't be used somewhere else. There we go. I go like that. It should mean that all the power just stays in here. We should see that this packet's getting bigger, so that's 200 grams. Yeah, it's not getting bigger. I am concerned. I genuinely do not know how to fix our problem here. Somehow we have hydrogen going through here because we have this turned on. Maybe we're coming out of our issue? Maybe. That's not what needs to be connected. Is this getting powered? Because that is connected in. It's not getting powered, so we're not making enough for that. Oh, that's because we have this cut off. For the majority of this, it should be charging. But then again, we are using a lot of that power to transfer things over here. No, we're not. That line would be this. So cancel that. I actually want this to turn on. How long until this turns on? Because we get more power out of our natural gas, I think. Another 11 cycles before we get both power sources back. We are getting more power up here, apparently. This does slowly repower itself over time. So that should be slowly filling these back in when somebody's running on this. We are getting some amount of oxygen back into the base, so we should be on the up with that. Where did all this debris come from? Oh, we dug out stuff above here. That makes sense. Gino, why are you running through it? Can I have someone sweep that up immediately, please? Suffocating, you have air getting replaced in here. So that's 16 kilograms going in here. We don't have water going back up there. That's because we didn't finish this. We started getting this ready. We actually want to go like that. So what this is doing is prioritizing the bathrooms before anything else, but it is going in a 50-50 split here. And then I think I want... No, this is going to have to stay a 50-50 split going right and left. Because if I go left, it's going to always go to the oxygen. The oxygen is powered non-stop. It doesn't back up. Okay, so now we should be getting oxygen back up to here. There is a tiny amount of power being supplied to these. Not exactly sure how that is powering nothing. That's a little bit of charge from the water coming in. Oh, before the water, I mean. Okay, that should be back to running a little bit. As long as we keep the water going up there. Over here, there is a power. But this is only going off of polluted water pretty much right now, which is dormant for another 33 cycles. The salt water is never going to come through here because it goes through the aqua tuners first. They do the pipes over here? They did, and they're picking up the stuff in here. I need to pick up that rust first because I'm pretty sure if I put a tile here, it's going to be pushed in. I don't want debris in there if I can avoid it. We could just have this going now. We would have so much power. Right now, this hydrogen is not enough to run all 10 generators non-stop. Same thing with the natural gas generator. Geyser, it's not going to run all 10 of these pumps. They pretty much run the same amount. But having both of them going at the same time should be enough to keep us afloat for a little bit. There's ethanol gas again. Yeah, I really just need to dig this whole thing out. What happens to wood when it overheats? I can't just click on it. Okay, there's got to be wood up here somewhere. Melting point is 600 degrees, never mind. Oh, Redneck, I didn't notice that you did a hydrate redeem because the announcement was right underneath it. Cheers. Alright, I think we're getting better. It's hard for me to tell. I did try to turn on the conveyors over here so that we can get things being pushed through our system. It looks like it's kind of going through the system. Either that, or it's just this middle section being powered by the two duplicates. What are you guys picking out? Apparently there's a lot of coal in there. Alright, that's not what I wanted to look at. Although it kind of is, because there's no water. And I doubt any of these are running again. Yep. I think we're stuck until the natural gas geyser turns back on. Because I could keep trying to connect this in, but I don't think it's going to work out for us. And if I go like this... Let's cancel all that. Actually, we do want that to be fixed. But we should change this into something that can be renewed. Or that we have more of. We have more iron. Let's replace that with an iron block instead. Okay, at that point, I think that has enough extra charge to get stuff going. I do need to make sure that water is going up there, though. We're just not getting any liquid through here. We're gonna have to bypass this somehow. But the whole point of this is to cool it down enough that we can keep using it. Because when it goes through our debris... No, our filtration, it kept flashing in the pipes. I think we're gonna bite the bullet, chat. Look at how fast the carbon dioxide's being pushed away. How much is right here? A couple thousand kilogram. I think we can replace this. Put down a 7 so they did it. That little bit of oxygen should keep us afloat because it's gonna have to disperse. So if we look at this, the carbon dioxide should still get pushed down. There's 400 kilograms of oxygen right there. Everything's going to be overpressurized. We have airflow tiles on every floor, so it'll go to every floor without having to be pushed away. I am waiting to make sure that this gets pushed down. It looks like it's slowly going down. Alright, that at least saves our duplicates. And we'll do that periodically as we need to for inside the colony. But we need suits getting oxygen. If I were to put a pump right here above this generator, it would supply suits only. And it would get a majority of the suits slowly filled in. How did you get power? Oh, there must have been a little bit of water that went up there. You know what? I am going to just disconnect that. I'm kind of debating doing that for over here as well. Just disconnect all this water and let it go into our base instead. If we do that, all of this should be backing up this way. It'll give us a burst of energy in a way, but it won't save us. That really not do enough to turn on. Right, just give us a little bit. What? It didn't turn back on. I saw the gasket over there, but I must have not cut it off quick enough. Alright, I think I paused it right before the autosave. We're going to see if this helped us. And another thing that would help us is if I cut off the oxygen creation. And we only have a focus on this for a little bit. Or the oxygen pumping. I'm hoping we start seeing this stay full. Okay, what powers suits? This is probably the least amount of power to suits. That gets some of these going. The one on the left side powers the first 4, and that continuously pulls oxygen out of here. And we don't want that. We kind of want these to all back up at some point. So we should be seeing that these pumps are all turning off, which they already have. It's just these two running for this line. And this stuff should not escape the vents for a while, because we have like 400 kilograms of air. Alright, that at least gives us a suit over time. We're out of water already. Will that bypass it? No. What about now? Still no. We're gonna attempt to get this pipe put in. Why are you not? Oh, fertilization doesn't have slime. And these are all grown. We really need the Sweetos back. Give me a Sweeto leg. Nope. Alright, while we're working on this and slowly getting everything back, let's do our first prediction. So in the top left corner up here, is that blue pod going to be tops, bottoms, buildings, decorations, or wallpaper? You have 10 minutes to put in your prediction. They are getting this done quickly. I think that's also Gino. I also swept everything up here. There's only one dupe outside the base, but I don't know. There they are. Is it still Gino? No, it's somebody else. I think that's Regus. It is Regus, look at that. Ah, you stink, Regus. Yeah, one more pipe to do and then it was done. Are you at least going to pick up igneous rock? 125.7, that's not a full pipe. Are you getting more at least? There's another person out here. Okay, so we're slowly getting our suits back. You stink! You should have fixed it. Or built it, I mean. There's some gases in here. I am going to slowly build all that out. And by slowly, I mean on a 4. Not too important. That's just so that the gases don't stay trapped there, just like right here. Someone gonna build this last there they go. We can do that, we can bypass our thing here. Especially if I cut that off. So if there's... It'll cycle through all the stuff that's in here. Should be it. Hopefully we can use this liquid. As it comes in, I think it's going to burst the pipes. Not entirely sure, but I think it is. Now, why is the bathroom not staying full at all times? Maybe it's just because it's a far away run that they're using it quicker than it comes in, but it's still a loop. I don't know. I'm mainly stuck here looking at this because I want to make sure that this doesn't flash as quickly as I think it will. Alright, so at this point, everything should be backed up and just filling this up. Which is going to slowly get hotter and hotter over time. We're waiting for the hydrogen to make its way over, which it is slowly coming over. How long until natural gas? Another 6 cycles. They're not building over here. Somehow there's liquid up here. So this must still be draining stuff into there. There's phosphorus and ethanol in there. About to clean out stuff. A Nidoran. Nidoran is from Gen 1, and it's one, if not the only Pokemon that has a gender as part of its name. Hooky catch. What balls do I have? Do I have clone balls? No, I do not. I think I have luxury balls. Yep, I do. I've been trying to figure out if there is another Pokemon that has the gender icon as part of the name, because there's Nidoran female and male, which respectively turn into Nidoqueen and Nidoking. I don't think there's any other Pokemon that has a gender as part of the name. Okay, this is being used, so that means we should be having this running. Oh, we did back up. Alright. We're getting closer, chat. I also think I can deconstruct this now. Alright, so with all of that, we are going to turn this back on. That'll get the rest of the pipes and also get the first 4 suits running over time. How is our gas? Wow, look at how much oxygen we have in here just because of this. 43 kilograms, so that's going to take a long time for us to burn through. This should be running. It wouldn't be because it's not getting enough power. But that should all change as soon as this backs up. Because if we can keep water being supplied to it non-stop, this will make so much hydrogen that it goes downwards. Are they almost backed up here? Yes, they are. This pipe is for something. I don't remember what it's for. Probably for making oxalate. Alright, we're starting to getting our little bits of hydrogen coming down here. Which should go along with this and help with that. Natural gas, another 5 cycles. And this steam is just hovering right here. Weird. Unfortunately, both me and Gino did not catch the Nidoran. If they could take this rust now, it's on a 6, that's why. You're supposed to be on a 7. Sweeping is always on a 7. Oh, we can dig this out, by the way. That will release all of this liquid down to here. Which, aside from these 3 pools, is all the pools we have that we want to bring down. Unless we're counting this as well. This is just a few liquid stacked on top of each other. That's not really a pool of liquid. The same thing here, it's just ethanol and salt water on top of each other. Alright, I am going to connect everything together up here. Because we should be getting our power back soon. I'm going to keep these dupes running up here until the power comes back. That looks like it's trying to run this. Huh, wow. Must be the hydrogen. Yep. It's definitely hydrogen. So the moment the natural gas geyser comes back on, we'll definitely be making enough. Especially now that we have a bypass for the salt water, which is coming at 93. Getting close to that steam threshold. Did they take the debris out? They did not. I think that's because we also have this on being picked up. So if I cancel that, I'm also going to dig out these tiles. Don't need to dig that tile though. How many suits do we have leaving? It looks like 6. And our gas is to here. The first 4 are kind of getting filled in. And this dupe's going to be running on that non-stop. I should not connect it in. Or should I? Nah, we're losing more on the transformer. Alright, another pod. None of the critters we want. What's going on over here? Mealwood has a pressure? 10,000 grams. I didn't think of that before I did this. It's going to take them a very long time to get through this pressure. I'm just going to let them deal with it. We get Drecos often enough, we should be fine. What are they doing out here that is... Oh, water. We need those berries going. So we're gonna take a slight hit on our oxygen generation. But overall, we should be fine. This will back up again. And the moment we get our natural gas generators back and running, I am going to turn this situation back on. If they could just pick up this piece of debris, we could continue doing this. Because this is now stifled. It says idle right now, but it's actually stifled. Should we go through and mop up more liquids throughout the base? There's going to be water up here almost non-stop. Let's try and mop up some of this area, which has more liquids that we can drop. And I'm actually going to want to go out there to mop that up. No. I was going to high prioritize mopping it up. I think I'll wait. Do I turn on natural gas to being another steam generator? I think I might continue letting it release temperature into the atmosphere instead. Did they finally pick it up? They did! Alright, so over here it's going to be one of these. Doesn't matter if it's made out of steel or not, so I'm going to make it out of cobalt. Because this one is not going to have a temperature issue. Then we could put this insulated tile back in because they can build this from down here and that from up here. We do need to figure out how we're getting power over here, so I'm going to need, once I can, to bring this down here. It's going to be tied in here. So I need to hopefully have enough cobalt to do this entire run. Right, that gets us to here. We then need to figure out how we're going to vacuum this out, and I think the easiest place to do that would be pump right there, bring you down, and here I am going to make sure that this is cobalt. We need to build this first before doing the wires. Let's do heavy watt made out of steel right here. I also need to make this in the liquid lock. Cancel that. This doesn't have to be a temperature regulated spot, it just needs to be vacuumed out. Since there's water right here, I could just do this. Well, that would count as a liquid lock. So while we're doing that, let's just put our power out here. I'll put a little battery. Sorry, chat, I wasn't quick enough to mute. Alright, and then I'm going to prioritize all of that, along with this that I forgot to put in beforehand. Alright, well, let that keep going. They were doing some of the power line, which is fine, but it's not what we want done first. They did a little bit more of this. They can get all of those ladders from up top, so let's dig out the next amount. Deconstruct those when they can reach them. We're getting closer down here, which I'm going to wait to hold off on. We could dig out more stuff in this area. Actually, let's dig over here to allow them to put in even more ladders at one time. Leaving this allows them to go from the right and from the left. Alright, how are they doing over here? They're doing alright. Okay. Why are you made of aluminum? Why aluminum? Let's change that. This is a liquid lock. Oh, that's also not where I wanted to put that dig command. I actually want it one over on the iron. And then that little bit of water should drop down and still have this as a liquid lock. We just need this vent. And everything's good. This is now full. So if I dig that, I can now go in here and put in, not that wire, put in those wires. And they're probably digging up here. Yes, I want that on a 7. That's very important. Here comes Gina. Or Sophie. I think it might be Sophie. No, it was Gina, like usual. Okay. Ah, they have one more pipe over here. Come on, you put the stuff in. Why is the game set up that they can drop stuff off, but not build the tile? If they can build the tile when they drop the stuff off, they should drop it off and build it. I don't think I'm the only one that gets annoyed by this. So we actually didn't need to put that there. Alright, this is getting taken out very quickly, actually. I am surprised. It's already a vacuum right there where it sucks in the most. Sorry, yeah, 50 grams. Alright, that will be checked in a little bit. 1, 2, 3. We're gonna need to put ladders right there. And since we already have a ladder run there, let's just dig this entire spot out. Now, I was gonna say it's already vacuumed out, but it wasn't. They finished digging up here, they did not. But they're getting there. Congrats, Gino, catching the stingray. And that is Sophie. You know what we should have done? Gino would know. We should have named our first pay, which is right now Sophie, as Willow. Because as we both know, Pay has blue hair. And so does Willow, quote unquote, have blue hair. Do we change their names? And do we tell Willow that we've changed our names? Alright, let's check in on our water. Alright, we are still producing. Since we are relatively good on power, I'm going to do a 50-50 split with this and fill this back in. It'll take a while to fill in, but it shouldn't take too long because this only needs to go to 500. And it's already at 4 and climbing steadily. Each packet is pretty much just 1 kilogram. Starvation? That's not true. Who's starving? Where are you at? Oh, you're just in the bathroom. Something to remember for next colony? 100%, Gino. The moment we get our first pay, we have to call it Willow. Oh, what's going on over here? Pressure. Everything hates pressure. Just still at 30 kilograms. Do we open this up to the outside air? I would want a way to keep the oxygen inside here clean and not be polluted oxygen. Fortunately, we don't have any oxygen atmosphere outside the base. Where would the easiest way to add the diffusers or the air cleaner things? I don't know. We are still making an overabundance of hydrogen, so that should be still coming down here and helping us. We still have the hydrogen coming from that way. How close are we to having this on? Should be like, ooh, only half a cycle. What's half a cycle? Half would be about here. We'll go a little bit more. So when that first line gets down to the crevice of the 6, or this crater in the clock. Oh wait, no, the whole thing moves. I thought it was just the coloring that moved. Okay, we'll go off to number 6. How are they doing over? They put in all the power lines. They didn't do this though. That's just waiting on cobalt. And I need that built in before we put the 2 tiles right here, which is going to require us to deconstruct this as well. But I'm leaving that in on purpose. Is there anyone coming down here with cobalt? Yes, actually. Looked like it said Regis and Mima were coming over here to do that. I doubt it's actually going to be those two. We do have pretty much all of this able to be built from where they're standing. That's also only 4 ladders, so that wouldn't take too long to dig. Or to be built. So I'm going to tell them to brawl that out. I'm also going to tell them to deconstruct everything right here. And then we get over to here. I need them to sweep up all of this, because we're going to be dropping all of that downwards, and I don't want it to go into the magma, which is about to be made. Okay, so this should have water. It's a body temperature issue. Why? The water's too hot. We let in water that was way too hot for that stuff, so there's no point in us having it there, having it connected. Nothing on this line should have been moved. But all of this is going to have to go down. It is still drawing in the water, it's just not cold enough for it to actually mean anything to that. For a second, I thought this pipe stopped running for a moment. We're past the point where this geyser should have went off. Oh. It just became not dormant. But you still have to wait about 2 minutes for it to turn on. Alright, they're still not bringing cobalt down there. What are they building in a higher priority? Let's also do that so that can be cut off. Alright, I'm also going to tell them to mop all of that. That should be phosphorus gas, but it's sour gas. Okay. We do have a lot of igneous rock. We could start building the actual room for all these oil reservoirs. So if I just start with where the oil could be produced and not overflow the wrong way. We'll do 2 tiles just to make sure. This is going to go all the way to here. And then be able to drop down. So let's go down like that. Over here is going to have to be a pit for us to pump out the stuff. We're also going to want a ladder inside there just in case, so we'll go to here. Which brings us to that point. That will allow us to at least start producing until the moment that they become full of stuff. Where it has to be vented. We're going to want to vacuum this entire place out. I didn't read what that emergency thing was. Another thing I like to do is keep the weight in where the pool is, so that the pool fills in the liquid lock. So if we're going to stop it here, we should cancel these 2. This will be a liquid storage like that, and then we just go like this. Okay, so that means we can just go up here. Where does it allow me to build above this? We can cut off the animation. I don't want to do that. Let's go like this, and so I leave it big and open like this, going upwards and up over here, because we're gonna go up like this. Let's be made out of obsidian. That whole time it's been obsidian. No wonder we've been able to build everything. I'm gonna let them keep building it. And then we're gonna switch it out. Right here, actually, we don't have to switch out. We can just take these away. No, let's do that now. Got a little bit of obsidian back on that. I think we're just gonna go a little corridor here. And like I said, we need a ladder run. Because I need to be able to get up to these to vent them. Alright, and then we need to get our liquids in here. So we're gonna come down here, because if it goes in here, it's probably not gonna bypass it. As far as I think it won't. Then we'll come to here and go straight down. Because that brings us straight to this pipe. And I can go like this. Okay. Now this is bringing in polluted water and water. I thought that was a pink color. Meaning it was bringing in phosphorus, and that got me worried. Can I mop any of this? I can mop a little bit of that. That's exciting. Alright, they're doing pretty good on this. They didn't do any of the... Oh, they did do some of the wire, but then we told them to go somewhere else. Okay. I'm going to cancel that just so that they have a way to get in here for right now. They are not doing too bad in that area. They do need to keep going over here, so let's put in those two tiles. They can get up and over, but it'll be easier for them if we allow them to come over. Trapped. Yes, you are. Let's prioritize that, then they can get up and out. They finally did the cobalt in here, so we can start deconstructing things. I'm just going to tell them deconstruct all of that. Move this back on buildings. And I'm going to prioritize those, because after that, this is done. We have water. And like I said, I did have this queued up to be cooled down and then pumped back out. So let's see what we have to do to set that up. Where is my picture? We want cooling food, liquid, and pots. And that is actually not telling me the right thing, so we want this opened. Water is on the far right. Over here. This long corridor is just for the water. It apparently is also the water that we're using for something else, which I'm guessing would be the pop's oxygen supply. So keep that in mind, but we're gonna start placing in things. That's not what I want. I want this one. Not that. Liquid shut off. Everything in here does have to be made out of steel. Now this is going to be going downwards. And then I have 3 aqua tuners on this line. There's another person trapped, so we're going to pause. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to assume I have a temperature gauge here, but I can't see it in the picture because there's a bridge right there. Let's grab automation. Connect that. Oh, not like that. Okay, and then the amount of weird looking pipes that are going to be put in here. So we have a bridge going right here. Where is this actually going to be keyed in? A little bit off from where it originally is. I think we're going to go from over here since I can build there. And then we'll bridge in here. So if we're putting a bridge over that, that means skip that block, come down here. That's our water in. That comes all the way over here, goes in, goes up. Then this has to go up, down, and up. Up, down, up. Up, over, where there's a 50-50 split going somewhere else that I'm assuming is the Puff Ranch. Now we have all the bridges. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I see why that goes out from this way. This is the outlet. So if it is too hot, it's going to go back around. I thought this was if it's too cold, it goes out this way. Okay, so this is actually the output. Which I think I was putting it... No, that's petroleum. Where does water go? Water is the second one. So the output would actually be keyed into here. We're going to bridge over that. We're going to let the inlet be the priority. Something like that. Taking a look at the rest of the stuff we have. And we only have the petroleum portion right here. To build. We don't have petroleum being created yet, so I don't see a point to putting that in right now. We are going to have to do some pipe management over here to bridge over 2 pipes. It'll be the same weird thing as, not right there, actually. What's the best place? Right here. This little jungle of mess is going to be over here. That can be made over time. When this is prepared... We also have somebody trapped. Emergency that. When this is prepared and ready to start making oil, we are going to turn it on immediately. But... this is also going to have to be a double liquid lock. So that the heat from outside doesn't come in. Alright, we are going to... Actually, we don't need these 3. We're going to do all of those tiles. We're going to deconstruct this one. So when the oil does come in here, it just keeps going further over. We're going to need to go like... Not like that. Like this, and hope that we can get all the all the gas out of there. All right, we are getting closer. This is now prepared. So let's deconstruct everything that we don't need. Let's actually power it. And cobalt, we're at 3,000. That means they were doing some stuff over here. Are we getting this taken care of? Kind of looks like we have fried mushrooms. We'll take that. I really need this second line powered, and it's just not getting power. And I think we are going to open this up and allow oxygen to leave this place. I'm going to do it from right here. That might make an oxygen pocket in here where no polluted oxygen gets back in. Kind of looks like it's doing that. All right, priorities. This really isn't a priority because we need the water first to do that. I am going to... I prioritize this little part, which we were putting in a lower spot on purpose before. And then I'm also going to tell them to do that. This is also not producing because of gas pressure. How much does it like? That's wood. That's not the tree. Arbor tree. Everything is 10,000. Alright. While this is going, I am starting to get the shake, so I'm going to take a little tiny snack break here and eat a little Reese's Cup. That's Halloween candy. Who's starving? Where are you? Willow is no longer starving, so they must have just been far away from the food. Alright. We should be getting an overabundance of power soon. Oh, that's right, it has to fill this up. Which is going to take a while. It's at 700 out of 1,000. Yeah, it's going to be taking too long for us to get any power from that. It looks like they are still cleaning this up, which is what I like to see. They did those pipes, they did those blocks, look at how fast they're going. Let's just do all this on. Did I make all of this out of steel? The things that need to be steel are in fact steel. So let's prioritize everything they can build from inside the sauna. Now we need to figure out how in the world I'm bringing this pipe all the way down. Oh, we do not have enough igneous rock to do that. I'm gonna guess we're about 20 kilograms or 20 tons away from where this has to go up from. Alright, they are still doing this. Looks like the ethanol is back to running. Why is this backed off and not supplying out? Oh, it's just way too hot. That's because this is currently going. We do have this in a steam bath though, so that's pretty good. And they tried digging down as far as they could to get to all of that. That's fine. They are getting the sun, so I want this. This is going down 14 each time. Right, it is 14. Going in is 60, coming out is... being mixed. I can't really tell off of that. We're just gonna put all of these on 25. If it is above 25, power the aqua tuner. Same here, and same here, surprisingly, because if it's hotter, it's gonna go downwards and go over. Did put in the automation for that, right? Yes, I did. Alright, let's look at the eruption times. Oh, we're in the dormant season. So those two volcanoes are dormant. This should not. It is. That one is not dormant. And I'm hoping this one is not dormant either. It does have some stuff here. How did you get debris on you? Oh, you must have got hot. Yeah, it's 200 degrees up here. Look at all that heat. It's not going anywhere. Alright, we do have a tiny bit of igneous rock, so I'm going to go all the way over to here. I'm also going to deconstruct this. Why does this seem like it's not the right height? This is not the right height. Okay. I understand a little bit now. They're getting that done relatively quick. Oh, we do have these cooled down enough up here. What is that? Plant's husk? Can be eaten or processed into fuel. I have never seen plant husk. Oh wow, you can get them from almost everything now. Is this like a new thing? Part of the last update? Oh. That plus resin into the polywood press makes polywood, or plywood. Why did I say polywood? Plant husk and resin makes plywood. It said something about making it into gas, didn't it? Or into power? No, yeah, into fuel or building materials. I guess fuel would be going into moose to make natural gas. Or can be eaten by moose or processed into fuel or building materials. So I don't know about that. Haven't refilled the skills yet? No, I have not. Sorry, Gina, I have the picture blocking the chat on one of the screens. Alright, let's check in on the base. It is just going to be taking a while to empty this whole thing out. We could speed this up by making more holes in our wall. I don't know if I want to do that. How is there chlorine in here? Oh, that's ethanol gas. How did ethanol get in here? What? That's going to stay in there forever until we open this up. Alright, we have 6 tons. Of igneous rock. I am going to at least put in a ladder going all the way. Whoop. This also gets us to the remaining cobalt ore that's in our area. And I am burning through the igneous rock just by doing this. So we're going to want to go over here. And this spot I should be able to dig out just by walking over here. This spot I can't. Unless I go like this. Awesome, we're almost to the water. So that's as far as we have to go. I'll queue up the rest of this to be dug out. Right, and then I need to go like that, like this, and also in here. Not that tile. So that gets us to those 4. That gets us to those, and then we can dig those as well. Should be everything. I'm just going to prioritize this area. As well as all of that. We don't really need to prioritize the entire igneous rock line going down because we don't have enough to connect it in all the way. Queue up that stuff again. We don't need that queued up. And now this should be cleared of having anything that it can turn into stuff. Actually, no, the sedimentary rock can be turned into sand or dirt. So it'll be a while before that's gone. We should probably also do our first prediction because we have yet to do that. It's been ready. Let's grab the ice. And we have 199 points in only bottoms. So hopefully it's bottoms. It is actually tops, also known as gloves. Let's do that. I am taking all your points, and we are going to immediately start the next prediction. So again, what is the pod going to be? Tops, bottoms, buildings, decorations, or wallpaper? You have another 10 minutes, and hopefully I remember to open it at that point. How is this doing? It is almost full. It's actually pretty close to being usable. And this area is pretty much done being built. What? Feels like it's cutting my neck. Oh, it's starting to, my chair is all enough to start to flake apart. And what I'm feeling is it pinching my neck or something. That was concerning me. I thought I had like a bug with a pincher on it going after my neck, like an ant or something. Alright, since we have ladders there, I'm going to tell them to dig out all of that. And I should be able to put ladders here without it being melted. Until, like, the future where it gets too hot. Alright, how are we doing? 27... all the way to 27 down there. Let's go in the Sweetle Ranch. And open up over here as well. I am waiting for them to do that before we go looking at something else. It was this one, right? I just put that on a 7. There we go. Oh, we got a little bit of polluted oxygen in here. That's fine. Okay, that's extra chlorine leaving that area. Thought that was ethanol for a second, but it's not. The abyssalite cannot change state. So that should be fine. Once they sweep up all of this, the next thing I'm going to do is deconstruct all of the metal tiles. Which I think we should wait until after this erupts. Actually, it's going to be idle for 7 cycles. We should be able to get all that done beforehand. Did I not do deconstructing that? Do I have this queued up to already being deconstructed? I do. They just didn't get around to doing it. Okay. Why do we have ladders right here? We still aren't making enough power to do all of this. No! I had this cut off this whole time! All of this has been cut off. What is this powering? All of this stuff. Which has been sitting for so long. And that's going to take a while for this to be filled in. Why does it go to this instead of going left to right? How do you find out the priority of transformers? Is there a way to see transformer priorities to make sure, you know, you have one going first and the other? Can I do something like that? Can I just, like, click on this transformer? No, I can't change a priority on that. We had a split second of power right there. How are they doing on moving everything? Still doing good. It looks like they completely cleaned this out. So it's just going through all of this now. Which is just a ton of sand. And a few eggs, look at that. Is it almost done? And it's done. So this is going to empty out soon. It'll stop rolling power out of here. What's the next transformer? It's doing the one that I want done first. Awesome. So all of this should be slowly getting taken care of now. This is going to take a while before it gets completely emptied out. Alright, we're going to ignore that for a while. How are they doing on other stuff? I think they finished everything that I high prioritized, so let's just go over here. Deconstruct all of that stuff. You know what? We might as well just deconstruct everything that's not going to be there. Now that does mean I can't get down to here anymore. Which is an issue. Actually, no. We just go like that. Awesome, they can deconstruct from that ladder. Alright, then sweep all of that. Igneous rock right there can stay there until lava comes. It's not going to do anything to it. Welcome in, first time chatter, Hippie. How are you today on this fine Saturday morning? We just changed our schedule from Saturday to Sunday. How are you doing on this fine Saturday? Said it again. How are you doing? Alright, we still haven't had any of our volcanoes go off, so we don't have enough igneous rock to continue our pipe down. But we can at least tell them to prioritize everything going down here. Watching preview for football? Who is playing today? Alright, we're almost at 20 kilograms here. Is this a hard game to start / learn? I don't think it is. There is a few things you have to worry about when you're starting out, but as long as you go one step at a time, it's not too difficult to figure out. The main things is food, oxygen, and temperature, making sure they don't overheat or freeze. If you try tackling all three of them at once, it's difficult until you learn how to do everything. But when you're learning, just focus on one thing at a time. And if things don't work out, just restart. The game itself is not difficult, it's just when you try tackling everything, it can be. Vikings and Packers, nice. I was trying to figure out what I was looking for. This is still given out. We're pretty much at 20 kilograms everywhere. We need to get this down to 10 kilograms. Alright, if we were to dig those 3 tiles, that would allow the polluted oxygen to mix with this polluted oxygen. Because the regular clean oxygen is preventing this polluted oxygen from mixing with here, I think. It may be being pushed over slowly over here. Not too sure about that. We are also about to cut off this polluted oxygen from up here. I think it's time to just go to another spot and deconstruct. A spot that is already in oxygen. That should help us release stuff a little bit faster. Alright, how is this doing? Are we full on this yet? We are. Technically, we should be producing power when this is off-gassing now. We'll take the Morphlees. Alright, and they're not doing too bad on this pipeline. How long? We'll say 5 cycles there. 2 cycles up here, that's not bad. And then these 3 should all be dormant. Who turns on first? 8, 61, 16. So it's 1, 2, 3 in that order. Alright, cobalt, we do have 6 tons. We are still building this, and that is considered part of the 6 tons, or not considered part of it. The 6 tons is the power we have aside from that. We got up to here, and we did inside here. Did I make these out of the right stuff? Yes, but no out here. That's fine. Alright. So we're going to go up and over here and see if that is enough. Okay. Next thing I want to do is these generators, because they take a little bit. And then something like over here. That's a small run. Are there any other small runs? We could do that. This is completed. This is not completed. Neither is this. And then if we had 400 kilograms, we could do these 4 generators. Well, we don't have 400. We only have 100, pretty much. Or are these completed correctly? Yes. And yes. Alright, we're just waiting for more cobalt to do that. Because we are still adding more to our power network. What is that noise? Thank you for the new follow. Have fun lurking. I hope your team wins as well. Alright, how is this doing? Oh, that says kilograms. For a second, I was looking at kilograms thinking that was the temperature of the water, being 111 degrees. I was like, how is that not steam? That makes sense. Okay. No, we still want them to do this. Nothing else is really prioritized right now. We do have 6 tons of igneous rock. Is that including this going off? No, it's not. That hasn't gone off yet. So let's continue going down as far as we can. That was not the amount I thought it was. If I cancel right now, I think it cancels ladders. It does not. Does that gets us back to a positive igneous rock, okay. We could honestly cancel a little bit more. Something I could do is keep the game paused like it is right now and place in the rest of the pipe, which would put us in a negative, but it would also continue building as we get igneous rock. We just wouldn't be able to build any like emergency ladders anywhere. Now it should be able to go from the bottom also. Let's come in here and dig out a little bit more of this so that more liquids can fall down here. They're kind of getting in each other's way. Yeah, they are going from in the middle as well. Can I mop everything that's up here? So far, yes. What about anything over here? Majority of that, yes, but we can't get over to some of the stuff in here. Once they mop up what they can reach, we'll put ladders to the other stuff. And there's polluted water in there. Oh, this is going to be gone anyway. We're going to cancel that mop. We're just going to drop that in the future. Alright, and I don't think we need to look at steel anymore. Aluminum I'm going to keep up there because we don't have a renewable source yet. There is a aluminum volcano on our second asteroid. How are the conveyor rails? They're 100% empty, so that should mean that everything is powered right now. Everything is powered. So we are going to connect these back in. And have our Atmos suits powered. We are looking pretty good for right now. Alright, they finished the upwards ladders. Didn't we just put in another one ladder somewhere? Was it right here? Might have been right there. So now they should be focusing on going in this portion now. We got a lot of wolframite. How... Wolframite turns into tungsten. Tungsten overheats. Higher than steel, right? Thermium overheats into tungsten. Doesn't tungsten make thermium? Yes, it does. Thermium overheats even higher than tungsten, it seems. And that's a 1-for-1. Thermium plus plastic and brack wax. Like plastium. What's plastium made for? Higher plastic? Ooh. Makes a fly though. Don't know what that is. Or a soldering station. That's also new to me. So I'm guessing plastium is like plastic, but it doesn't melt in a steam room. Tungsten is a trap. Don't improve over heat temps. It doesn't improve over heat temps. Gotcha. Okay. Either way, we're gonna let this keep falling down here. And it looks like more liquids are able to drain out of this spot. If we were to dig down again, we might be able to drop even more liquid out of here. The majority of it's going to come down this way, that's fine. We also did not put in the dig command. That's why they weren't going downwards. I must have canceled a dig command there. Okay. Did this. It just went dormant? Did we even get igneous rock from it? What? We might have to start getting our space area ready because there's a lot of igneous rock up here. As you can see, there's a large pocket there, a large pocket there, here and here. Someone's trapped. Just dig those out, Sophie, and you're fine. That's going to happen at least one more time. And now all that liquid's coming down here, so we're going to need to dig those two tiles to make sure that all of it drains out of this area. Alright, more mopping. How did they do over here? They got a pretty good distance. I need to put a single one tile right there. Push all that out. And then we need to build ladders in this area. So let's go here and here. And then we need a way across here, so let's put a ladder there. They're going to dig out all this coal. Let's put a ladder here and here. So they can do the rest of that. Looking even further over, they're going to go up here. Take out all this coal. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up. And that should bring us to everything else, except for right here. They're not going to be able to mop that up. Alright, they should be able to do all of that. Let's see, build-wise. Construction, this is still the highest priority, but we're now going to add other things to it. Looks like they did almost everything up here. Let's just prioritize that. That's on a 4, so that's not going to get done anytime soon. We should probably do this and that. We'll let them sit on those for a little bit. They did get... I'm going to count this as this being done, even though they have 2 ladders to be built. Ladders won't take too long to do. But I'm going to consider that whole thing done. Is there a volcano that is not dormant right now? You're dormant for another 5 cycles. You're 16. 60. 26. Wait a second. Why is this one such a higher dormant period than this? I don't know. I'm going to look at the star map for a second. I want to make sure that we have unlocked all of the volcanoes, not the metal volcanoes. We have. Okay. Oh, we're gonna need to add power to this as well. We do have power coming in here. More fried mushrooms. What is the noise? Oh, we have a meteor shower. I'm surprised I'm hearing it. Alright, let's do another priority check. They've done everything in here except for cobalt stuff. Everything up here should be done. So let's just prioritize everything else. They still have that one. They should be able to come up here and do that. Not sure what's taking them so long on that. Say you and all of this. That'll get us to come in here and do other stuff. I'm gonna leave this water on there because it's gonna keep getting overheated. And we never fully swept out all of this, really? I am surprised. Alright, now they're getting coal for the coal generators. And also mopping up everything. Oh, we did not do this right. Deconstruct all that. Sorry about that, Gino and Slicky. I got you both stuck. Let's continue this water pump thing going. That's polluted water. We're gonna have to get in there. Actually, hold on a second. Hold on. One, there's a little bit right here. Oh, I missed. Well, another thing is we can just go like this. And still be able to climb up and down in there. We're getting closer and closer to having this all liquid, plumbed, and piped out. That little bit. I'm gonna build a ladder to get up to here so that we can deconstruct all of this. Yeah. That'll drop all the liquid in here. There's more liquid that's going to be dropped down here. That looks like sulfur, but it's mud. Alright, what's next? I haven't finished all this yet. I don't want to turn it off, because this still isn't cold enough. But I kind of want to deconstruct the power line at the bottom so that I can use it to put in the power lines up top faster. We have 8.5 tons of igneous rock. I don't know how we got an extra 2 tons. Maybe the volcano did erupt and then go dormant? Who knows? Here is some volcano. Molten iron. They didn't pick up all the debris in here. That was a toilet error, but we still have toilets coming. Alright, I think we have enough power that we can turn this back on until a day where our generators are not fully running. So let's get this cooling down. The salt water inside here is pretty hot. It's going to take a while for it to go down. Actually, maybe not. It's going down rather quickly. Anyway, we'll let that keep going. Eventually, this is going to cool down as well. And we have this base pretty emptied out. Let's do our second prediction. We have 269 points in bottoms, 30 points in wallpaper. For the sake of the underdog, I hope it is wallpaper. That's a building. I think that's my only other gas reservoir. But sorry everyone, I'm stealing all your points yet again. And for our third and final prediction, we will do that later. Sometime after the next 30 minutes. When does this become not dormant? Another 8 cycles. Okay. In terms of constructing, they have finished everything but the stuff over here because that's the furthest away. Oh, nope, they didn't do this. But we didn't have that queued up yet. Anyway, let's just deconstruct all of that delicious cobalt. And as you guys can see, everything is still turning yellow occasionally due to our wires being only for 20 kilowatts if I go to this one. Once we get it to all being cobalt instead of cobalt ore, we should be doing better on power in the sake of overheating or over consuming. That's the temperature up here doing, by the way. Since we made this a vacuum and we cut it off from outside, it is getting cooled down. Doesn't help that we opened it up. So we're actually cooling down outside the base as well. Temperature, pressure-wise, we're in the teens of kilograms. So we're getting closer to that point where things are going to start working again, food-wise. We have 18 tons of igneous rock. I think that is pretty close to being able to build the rest of this pipe. I don't think it's going to cover all of it. Because if we go to here, that's probably going to take 5,000. That took practically all of it. And again, I don't want to queue it all up in case I need igneous rock or something else. We do also still have to build the water pipe leaving this area and going into the oil. If all of our volcanoes weren't dormant right now, we would be fine. Let's mop up that little bit of water in there. Since most of this has drained down, I think we're at a point where we can mop up everything over on this side that is not in the cold biome. So if I just get all of that and this portion, I think we can reach. Can't reach this, so let's grab a little bit of that igneous rock we're saving. Mop that up. This can be just dug and then a ladder. Take that and that. And that will slowly bring us down to this point. All right, over here we have liquids leaving, but we can make it quicker by mopping it up. Once this is mopped up, I'll queue that up and all of this. They have not dug in here yet, but that's because they can't get in there. So we are going to need some ladders. We'll do 1, 2. Dig all that. Alright, now that they have started mopping all that up, I will queue this up now. They can get up here, so they'll do that eventually. They are not doing too bad. At some point, we're not going to know what they're doing just because they're coming over here to put in bottles to empty. Does that look like iron? That's cobalt, but it looked like iron. We now have a coral bug egg. We can now start down here. Hold on. We want to look at this. So that's royal. I want this to be coral. We then need to find that coral egg that was probably picked up. Yep. And what I am going to do is turn this off royal bug egg and put it on coral. Because that's going to slowly change this to being sun bugs and royal bugs. And as far as I know, every bug can eat phosphorate, I think. There may be a portion of time later on where they can't. Let's kill all those. Alright, temperature up here. Close, we're at 13 kilograms. Down here, I said temperature, but I meant pressure. 15, we're getting close. 13 over here. And 15 right there. Alright, we're getting closer. We are waiting for this to cool down. There's still iron in here. Well, it would turn into refined iron. And it is cooling down. Magma should solidify in about 50 degrees. We should see this shoot up about 10 times as much, I want to guess. Alright, they did that. Let's keep mopping. I'm only going around and mopping everything as a placeholder for something to do. Why did that just say that there was something over here hungry? How in the world did a long-hair slickster get stuck in abyssalite? Chat, what did you do? How did you guys get a slickster stuck in there? I plead the fifth. All that, all of that. Dig that one tile so that polluted water drops down. If I dig this, can they get to here? Let's see, three. Yes, I can. Nice. I'm gonna allow them to escape. Don't need that queued. We do have a little bit of liquid over here. Let's take a look at liquids. We're looking for squares, not bottles. Nothing up there. I see no squares. There's some squares here. There's some here where we didn't get to yet. That's liquid chlorine. That's not something we're trying to bottle. So we're pretty close to having this all done. There's a tentacle in chat. Now, there has been a tentacle in chat before. It is fairly common in chat, so I would expect everyone to have one at this point. Gino, I'm sorry. Alright, how are they doing over here? They have pretty much all the pipes that we've done. Did the coral bug get moved? Apparently there's a second coral bug in there? Wow. Alright, I am going to do a wrangle. Because I have a feeling they didn't move that royal bug quick enough. None of those. What does this icon mean? Oh, right. We can change the outfits for each duplicate that's a Frankie. I've never done that. Right, let's clear that. We don't need to keep looking at it anymore. Is there a way for us to get even more data banks? You've already been checked. Not analyzed. Not analyzed. Everything else has been analyzed, so we pretty much have run out of data banks in this entire colony on this asteroid. We need, one, a lot of radiation, but also we're about halfway done the data analysis stuff. So this, I'm assuming we are out of uranium. So we're gonna have to come into somewhere and dig out the cold biome. I think we'll do here because we need to get into this area anyway, which we already have bridged over to. So let's continue our mop all the way over to here. Continue this ladder. And then we need to get in here. So if I do 4, leads us to there. But right now we'll do the every other ladder trick. Just so that we can get up here. If we need to put more ladders, like right here, I think we need more. Maybe not. We might be able to dig all that by ourselves. Alright, this is made out of igneous rock. We have another 9 tons. That actually might be close enough. Let's count it out. 400 times 19. Is 7,600. We have enough to do all of that. Welcome in, Sophie. Happy Sunday to you, Sophie. Thank you for the shout out to Matt King, Chris. We're gonna put 2 ladders there because when we open this up, they're gonna destroy that ground. We now will have water getting all the way up here, being cooled down, and then sent back in here. Chris is live right now. Don't have sound, your face is pretty though. Someone type 07 is dupe. What? I don't know what you mean, Sophie. Why are you saying dupe so many times? Alright, so right here we need to add one tile. We're down to 500 kilograms. And this is down to 29 degrees. We have 10 tons of cobalt. That's not going to really push us anywhere. How did this turn into steam? Oh, the oxygen carried, I guess. I don't know. Let's do another check. 12, 14, 16, 12, 13. We're getting closer. It's starting to slow down, though. And I think that's mostly because there's oxygen out here that is preventing it from continuing. Alright, over here, we are almost all the way up. If I had dug that out, they would be able to continue. Somehow this ice is getting colder. I don't know how that's working out. To answer Sophie's question, I am going to do 07. Because her dupe is fine. Alright, and this is steam, water coming down. So let's clean up here. And all of this. I'll leave that water there so it can immediately turn into steam. Don't know why there's sand there, so let's pick that up. Otherwise that might turn into a tile later. And we're just slowly working our way down here. Where is that Paku going? Just go over here, my guy. Alright, cancel everything else in there. This is still open. Let's close that up. Why was that opened? That means all the liquid came down here. There is so much liquid in here that we are not pumping anything up here anymore. But honestly, that's fine because we need to come in here and block it up again. Alright, if we were to dig through here... Let's do this systematically. And dig out everything that's not abyssalite, because we are going to be changing this into being tiles in the future. And we are not digging anything below this abyssalite. No, we are digging out this abyssalite. So if we continue going over like that, then we would get all of this. And then we have to dig our way downwards. But for right now, let's go like that. They should be able to dig out all of this because it's only 4 tiles from right here and it's 2 tiles over. They can reach all that. We have not finished sweeping out all of this yet, so let's get this and this. I'm not going to sweep any of that because that's just regular water. We are going to dig that down. And I want them to get in here. Let's grab some ladders. That should be enough to dig this out. And then to mop this and this. Dig that out. There's apparently snow. Let's do another 4. They should be able to reach all of that from different high points. All right, let's also sweep all of this. We're just trying to get rid of everything that's not water. The rest can get moved down there. How did this happen? I'll have to deal with something like that. They swept everything in there. The rest is probably going to be steam. So I'm just going to not do anything with it. I do want them to dig this already. What are they digging? Oh, someone's coming over now. Oh, you're not here to dig? What are we digging then? Oh, down here. They were still doing that, I guess. And it looks like we're having a bit of an infinite liquid storage here. Seriously, why are they not digging this? Here comes Gino. Good job, Gino. I don't think I put those on 7. Why is there a dig command there? Alright, in the interest of getting all of the liquid out of here, I think we're also going to dig this way. To get all of this. Now that is going to drop in a lot of liquid into here. We will, in fact, dig it out later. Let's bring this all the way down. Once they build that ladder, that's when I'll dig in here. Actually, we can dig in there now. Why are we waiting? Alright, and we have all of this stuff. Let's dig in from the right side over. So if I go like this, and then like this, and then we just pop out the other side, that should drain everything down to this level. Which shouldn't cause any issues with this volcano. If anything, we'll be turning stuff into water. Going off of the heat. While also allowing all of this salt water to get mixed in. There's an Iron Treads in chat if anyone wants a future elephant Pokemon. Let's dig out all that to release that ethanol. And let's come in here and mop up all of that. And I doubt anything can come in here or here. So I'll mop all of that as well. There is a little bit of polluted water here. Why aren't they doing this? Apparently it's unreachable. Oh, they can't get ladders. Okay, so with this being blocked off, we are going to need a large ladder run. Let's do as much as we can for right now. Oh, apparently I can get all the way. Was expecting that. And then at some point they should be able to come over here. Why? It's the only one that says unreachable for some reason. Alright, how are they doing? This is all released now. We actually need to get in there. So let's dig out to that point. How'd they do over here? They dug over, but it didn't release anything. So I guess we'll just keep going downwards like this. Now, where can they not dig to? Okay, so right here. They can dig that from at the bottom. They can't dig this. Okay. Can I dig that one tile there so it just falls down? Yes, I can. Yeah, okay. Apparently a little bit of cobalt there. We're going to also try and dig as much of this out as we can. So if I'm going from top down, we would want to go in through here. We would need a whole one ladder. And that's it. This should now be getting close to being not flooded. I'm waiting to see if this flows out anymore. It does, look at that. Welcome in, Raiders! Regus! How was your Hitman stream? Who doesn't know me, my name is Coded. On this channel, we play all of my games in a specific order to show off mankind's progression through technology, and we call this Stone to Space. We do this every now Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday, or in other words, every other day starting Wednesday. And occasionally we'll have polls. Right now we're playing Oxygen Enclave because we're in the 3rd chapter of space travel. And what we're doing right now is trying to get our liquids moved around so that we can pump liquids up here for this volcano to turn into steam. We are slowly working on turning this entire asteroid into a steam room. We had just got our water pumped all the way up into here. It gets cooled down by our aqua tuners and then sent in here to get stored for forever. This is an infinite liquid storage. At some point, that water will be taken out of there and piped all the way into these 3 generators, as well as something else later on. That'll turn it into oil, along with this leaky oil fuser. And then somewhere down here, we're going to have a petroleum generator, which will then be pumping all that petroleum back up into here, pulling down that petroleum, putting it in here, and it's piping that all out to over here into our generators. It's going to take a lot of time. It's probably not going to get done this stream. We're probably going to be stuck having power issues for another week. Actually, we won't, because on our next upcoming stream on Wednesday, we will be doing a 24-hour stream to celebrate my birthday and also our affiliate anniversary. Who is this Sunday streamer? Alright, we pretty much mopped all of this. We do have stuff to dig. And luckily, we can dig all of this from this tile. We're digging all that out to get uranium so that we can do the rest of this radiation science. Even though we can't finish the whole science because of not having enough data banks. We were also working on draining this a little bit. Now, if we were able to, I would finish doing all of the ladders in this entire area. Because we are going to have to start piping all of this stuff out of here and putting it through a liquid separation thing here. How is our power doing? We're not doing good. Let's take some bristleberries. So, to celebrate Regus coming in and raiding us, let's do our third and final prediction. So the pod in the top left corner, is it going to be tops, bottoms, buildings, decorations, or wallpaper? You have 10 minutes to put in as many points as you want in order to predict. And hopefully you guys win. In the meantime, I'm going to check on these. That's at 10.6 kilograms. 11. We're getting closer to our plants being able to breathe. The plants stop growing when there's more than 10 kilograms of pressure. So right now we have too much pressure in here. And our Drekkers are getting pretty close to dying. I think that Drekko only has 2 cycles to live. But I'm not entirely sure. What's going on right here? Why is there stuff there? That must have been phosphorite that cooled down inside a bottle. Alright, let's check in on our water going up. It is 34 degrees. That is a reasonable temperature to send up here. So we're again going to split off of our water. Now, neither one of these should have been dormant. It just hasn't off-gassed yet. Once we get petroleum up in there, everything's going to be fine. And that's still draining over here, which means this is going to slowly drain out. So let's do a little bit more liquid management by going up there. We're going to need to mop all of this out. And then we're getting down to this portion. Which would require a ladder. Or would it? If I go here and dig my way downwards, we can probably dig a ladder up here and then open this up. Where does this lead? This leads to here, which does not lead out of here. Although we could open it up. I go on like this. And we'll go up a tile like that. And then we can dig from here all the way over. That'll let out all this ethanol. Sweep all that up. We're going to need to dig that tile out. What I'm trying to do by mopping everything up is prevent ethanol gas. Because when the ethanol gets superheated, it turns into a gas, and we want to use the ethanol, not the gas. So if I dig all of that out, we should be able to do all of this without someone getting trapped. Actually, once they get over here, they're going to be trapped. That should at least save them from being trapped. Sorry, Jaina, if you do, in fact, get trapped. No, they shouldn't be trapped. They'll dig themselves out quickly enough. Look at that, they're already out. Ignore that trapped alarm. So while we're here, we should be able to sweep a majority of this up. And that is too much ethanol for us to mop, so we need to go like this. Let's queue this up to be mopped again, open that up. Let's get up here to get this ethanol. Actually, hold on. We'll just dig that ethanol down here. And there's a lot of salt water here, so I think we need to go a third tile just so all this can drain out of here. There we go. Look how quickly that just drained out. We're gonna mop all of that. They're working their way over here. They apparently can't get up to here, so let's put in some ladders. What we're trying to do is drop all of our large pockets of liquids that are not formed by steam. So this water that's all over the place up here was formed by this creating steam somehow. But all the other liquids should be all down here for us to sort out in the future. Alright, and this ethanol requires a ladder so we can get up here. It also requires a tile right there. We don't need to dig up those plants. And since we can do that, we're gonna go all the way over to here. We're doing as little as we can. So if we do that and get up here, we can release most of this, I think, if we do this correctly. That and that. Up to here. Up again. No, we're just gonna put a ladder. We'll do 2 ladders right there so we can dig all this out. And if we submit, we'll be able to get a little bit of data banks from here. We'll also be getting a lot of copper from all this. Now, we are having a power issue. So what's going on over here? This is going in 65. Alright, I think we need to take a look at freezing temperature of this liquid. So if it is over 25 degrees, it's coming through this and going looping around. These should be bringing it down 14 degrees each time it goes through. 14 times 3 is 42 degrees. So I think what we want is this to say 25. Well, actually, no, they all say 25. So if this is less than 25, it shouldn't be getting cooled again. How did this break? Insulated liquid pipe. Oh, it must have sat there for too long. That would do it. Alright, never mind then. I was worried about it, but now I'm not. Let's get that little bit of ethanol. We're gonna leave this all to get done. Now we are almost done getting all of our liquids down to the bottom. This is not doing too good. But we still have power inside our base somehow. I see what's going on now. Alright, we do have our natural gas going. No, we don't. That will be going soon. There we go, now we have natural gas coming back in. Alright, trying to think of what we should prioritize. I think we are just going to keep doing this while we wait. We're really waiting for igneous rock so we can continue building. And this is only being filled in so that this can off-gas or produce magma into here. Should probably block this in now. Now that we have a way over here. Awesome, I got through in here. Mop all this, please. Bringing those packus all the way down here. Eventually they'll funnel through. And if we deconstruct that door, we'll be able to get in here. Alright. I have pushed off feeding the kittens and Mama for about an hour, just so that we could keep going. So, while we are waiting for igneous rock, I think we're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to let the game run. First thing I want to do is do a hard save just to make sure that we can go back to this point if we need to. Alright, that's apparently enough liquid for them to live in, so let's continue mopping all of this and that little bit. It should allow the packus to know which way to go for more liquid. Except this packu is kind of having a hard time figuring out to go Continue going to the right. Gino, are you ready for Drifloon's lore? In the game, you can only catch a Drifloon on Fridays at a certain place. Every Pokemon in the Pokedex has some form of explanation of the Pokemon. And Drifloon's thing is that it waits for children to grab onto its yellow hands at the bottom of them, and then it lifts them off the ground to never be seen again. The ghost-type Pokemon do have scary descriptions, I guess would be the way to describe it. That should be all water, yeah. Child-friendly game, 100%. There definitely isn't a Pokemon that just makes nightmares for no reason. Now, I need all of them to keep going to the right, or to the left. And we can't do that if this is continuing to make water. I don't know where all of the steam is coming from. Is that ethanol? That is ethanol right there. Alright, so I'm just gonna leave those Pacus there, and we'll continue mopping all of this stuff. Because at that point, everything should be a liquid created by steam. Where is that iron? I want to get rid of that iron out of here, so that this stops creating iron, or liquid iron. It looks like Mama has done her plate, so let me take off the plates off the floor. Hi, Mama. And it is clean plates time. I don't know if you can see them, but right here is paintbrush. What are you doing? All right. Back to sitting down, back to waiting, as we do. What I could do to start off everything is make all of the pipes out of a different ingredient. What's gonna happen when I put the pipes right here? That's something I didn't think about. I think we're just gonna go for it and see what happens. Now, when do... That's 7 cycles. This is 2 cycles, and I think recently went off due to the steam that's there. Because it's not dormant. This is also not dormant, so that's just waiting until it goes off. That one still is dormant. Another 40 cycles. And you, I think, are almost done being dormant. Okay. What's the gas in here looking like? Everything is below 10 kilograms. Everything's below 10 kilograms. So let's block off the wall again. Seven and 7. Because if I do this one, that'll turn this back into a ranch. Okay, they did the bedroom first, which is fine, because that also gives them morale. Then they did the tree one. Instead of doing these. Alright, I'm gonna need to set this up to be plant husk. Which is apparently an industrial ingredient. And for a limited time, polluted dirt. Now, does this still pick up plastic? Yes, it does. Alright. Polluted dirt for a limited time. Same here. Don't know what polluted dirt came from over here. I'm guessing that was plant husk. I'm guessing every plant has them. There's polluted dirt over here again. What? How did even more polluted dirt get there? They don't poop out polluted dirt, right? No, they make phosphorite. Weird. Alright, hopefully that's all we have to worry about there. With all of these volcanoes getting not dormant, or I should say waking up, we should be getting igneous rock rather quickly. And my nose is annoying me. I'm not seeing a cat hair, but it felt like there was something there. Alright, we have a regular pod. Snazzy suit. I don't think we have a dupe for a snazzy suit. I think everyone has something. Yep. And I think it's time to open our very last prediction of today's stream. We have 30 points in tops, 1,400 points in bottoms, and another 30 points in wallpaper. Now this is a tough choice because I usually go for underdogs, but I hope it's either tops or wallpaper. Let's see what we get. It's wallpaper! So congratulations on whoever chose wallpaper. You are the first person to win during this stream. And that person was Gino. Congrats. Who did tops then? I don't know. It won't tell me. Congratulations on winning 1,430 points. Is it bright enough in the room now that I can turn off this light? I had this light on because earlier it was very cloudy outside and very dark inside. Yeah, it's bright enough outside, I can turn that off. Alright, if some of these volcanoes could turn on a little bit quicker, that would be nice. We have another one going off in a cycle. What are you attacking? Oh, your ball's over here. Look at that ball. Alright, we are going to take some of this polluted water, or not polluted water, igneous rock, and work our way from here in. See how far we can get. We're not going to get very far at all. Look at that, we're already almost out. So that was nothing. That's annoying. Alright, what I want to do over here is deconstruct background buildings. And then regular buildings. Let's get this all taken care of. Now this is going to have to be changed. The steel. Conveyor rails, I don't think need to be changed. But maybe in the future we will change them to being something other than copper. Alright, do we uncork the gold volcano? I don't think we need gold for anything right now. Gold is used for something later on. I don't think we need it right now. How about our cobalt? Can we bring a cobalt line over to here? We can very easily. Go like this. Put in a steel transformer rotated. Grab these and just power all of our lines while we're waiting. And I'm going to do the same thing as the water. Where we try and make it a straight line to all of them. Oh, we also need to vacuum this out, right? We can't do that unless there's stuff here. Easy thing to do. Deconstruct all those. We're going to put a pincher pump right here. Not a pincher pump, a bottle emptier. Right there. We're going to drop oil right in this middle tile, and it's going to go both directions, blocking this whole thing off. We do have a little bit of oil in the colony. Is someone going to make this? It's being made out of granite, so it should be done quicker. Okay, stuff over here melted. So that is actually not good. We want to be able to get up there to grab igneous rock. There's a ride-on in chat. That's Gen 1. Apparently I have it. Crude oil, 7. I'll do auto bottle, although I don't think there's anything to auto bottle empty. If that makes sense. And this is going to continue draining. We're probably going to have to move this down. I think I can do that now. Yeah, let's go to there. Alright, they're almost done all the power into here, which I'm even surprised about. Now, I feel like I usually put automation on these as well. If I take a look at oil and volcanoes right here, I don't put automation on them. I do put automation on them to stop them from creating more oil. Alright, I'm gonna let this keep draining oil. We need to set up different things in here. The first thing is that I forgot this will occasionally break due to how much oil is in it. So we need to replace some of this with different items. That can be there. We're gonna have to put one tile there because this can't be changed. We're going to deconstruct that. And we're going to deconstruct these two tiles. We're going to make this somewhat of a infinite liquid storage functionally by putting doors here. And I'm hoping that a door counts as a solid block, or else we're going to have to take that away and put in two tiles there. Because of the oil pressure. Or liquid pressure, I should say. Alright, we do now have enough to put in gas pumps. So if I were to put one here and here, that's a full pipe. And they should be powered already. Yep. Put that right there. Why is this being made out of steel? Why is there steel? This is made out of steel. Oh no. And we're fine with that. We have renewable steel at this point. And I'm gonna lock these. Alright, let's start putting in the other stuff in here. Like a pump. We're gonna want... Where is it at? Oh, hydro sensors in here. Two of them. One goes down, one goes up into these. Alright, at some point this is going to be automated. So let's put that right there. I'm also going to get rid of all of these. Just so that we have a little bit of igneous rock to work with. Gear up all these to be locked. And as soon as I make everything, this is, I think, 100% ready to go. We just need to connect in the water pipe, and then this will be running. While we have a little bit of igneous rock, I am going to put in the output. Let's go like this while we can still build in that area. Yeah, we also need power down here. Okay, this. When it is below 750, I want this to turn off. When it is above 750, wait, nope. I have these backwards. This above, this below. So right now the pump should be going because this isn't full. When it is full, then this turns on. All right. Now, what is power doing over here? Not at all anything. Let's do temporary fix of this. You know, let's do... Let's do 3 generators. A single battery. What happened to all the oil? What? Why did all of the oil come over here? That's not what was supposed to happen. And what is going on with our igneous rock? How did I burn through it already? You're doing for 35 cycles. You're gonna erupt in 2 cycles. Grab some ethanol. Alright, are these emptying or are they filling up? They're pretty much filling in quicker than they're draining out. And that's just because we don't have enough power to keep these running 24/7. What is going over here? We just dug these up and they already remade themselves. Chat, we're getting closer. This is going to be anything above 500. Because eventually this is going to be stuck with just natural gas. Petroleum? What? Oh, the igneous rock right here is too hot. Oh. That makes sense, actually. And it is actually okay if this is petroleum. It actually won't hurt us at all. Is that ethanol? What in the world? We have ethanol all over the place again. I guess bottles aren't thermal storage in a way. That's unfortunate. Alright, we'll be cleaning up even more of a mess later on. What I want right now is for these to start running. Alright. I'm I'm also going to go like this so that the liquids hopefully fall out of here instead of in here. We are starting to vacuum this out. It's going to take a while because there's 5 tons. Or 5 kilograms. Our igneous rock is about to grow larger in 1 cycle. That's 10, you're dormant. 4. Dormant for another 2.5. Okay, so it seems like at the moment, with as little steam turbines as we have, and as little steam turbines currently running as we have, we create a livable amount of power when the 2 geysers are going. The natural gas and the hydrogen. When they are dormant, we struggle for power, but not beforehand. All right, over here is a lot of plant husks. And I think we're going to have to put in a secondary empty thing in here. What does this pick up? Eggs. I think we're gonna have to implement another way of things leaving this area. That's eggs going out. Sulfur coming in. We're gonna have to redo this in the future. This has no water, because there's no water down here. That is fine. We should have a lot stored in here. Not an overabundance like in the ethanol and the polluted water, which we're actually getting from the geyser now, right? Yep. All right, this is going to erupt in now 1/4 of a cycle. We also have coal being delivered. So I think it's time that I start closing down a bunch of our pictures. We are vacuuming this out fast enough that the chlorine is now rising from this area. That's exciting. What I want to do is make sure all this gas also escapes. So we're going to release that, allowing the chlorine to fill that spot. And pretty soon we will be taking out polluted oxygen and chlorine only, because this is going to get vacuumed out quickly, I think. When we get to that point. Here comes the steam. Wait for it. There's still magma going in. There it goes. That's it? That's all the steam it made? Oh, that's 100 kilograms. Compared to 5 kilograms. That's a lot of steam, actually. Alright, this is almost done taking out all the sour gas. If the sour gas could stay near that long enough, we would have that emptied. There we go. Now it's just chlorine and polluted oxygen in here. This is down to 2 kilograms, and this is down to less than a kilogram. So there's more gas down here than there is up top. Which I guess makes sense, because we just opened up this chlorine area, or this fluid oxygen pocket. So anyway, that'll be emptied out over time. We also have this second pump in, so let's deconstruct this and get into here. And why is this place there instead of up one? Don't know why I put it down one. Alright, that should be going up here. Is doing alright. We're down to 100 grams there. And a kilogram down here. This is getting emptied out rather quickly now. Especially now that all the fluid oxygen is going upwards. Oh, that's why this is getting emptied out quickly, because it's just polluted oxygen. It's not a mix of gases. So when they turn off, the gas should be expanding quickly, going upwards. Right now it's going to stay roughly that height because there's a pump pulling in the chlorine. Alright, we have 11 tons. That's not a lot in the grand scheme of it. $11 tons is about 28 pipes. And we're a lot farther than a 28. How many pipes would we need to build? So if we go to right here, that's all of the igneous rock we have. And I would want to go up to here, over, and up, which is 105. What's 105 times 400? What is that, 40,000, I guess? It is, it's 42 tons. So we could keep placing in stuff for that. Let's change all of this to steel. Another thing I'm going to have to worry about is petroleum flashing. We're definitely going to need to, in a way, rush to a liquid that has a higher thermal threshold. I feel like there's a kitten running around. There's two at my feet, and I thought one ran across my bed, but I don't see anyone. Arborary coin, we still haven't gotten another Sweetle egg. We're gonna have to go to that other asteroid in order to get a Sweetle. To kickstart our food again. We're not doing bad on food. It's not like I'm worried about it. We actually have 241,000 calories of spicy tofu. Oh. Now all three kittens are at my feet. we do have all this built in again, which means that it's not on a 7, so let's turn that back onto a 7. The gases in here aren't doing too bad. We're actually at less than 20 grams. At least for polluted oxygen. The chlorine now is climbing quickly. The longer that this is off, the more it climbs. Now that this pipe is back on, it is emptying quickly. And since these are only doing a couple grams, they're not backing up, so this should run non-stop. And having 3 people running on the generators means that we shouldn't run out of power. And I am kind of waiting for us to get more igneous rock before I place in the next pipe. We could do a fourth of it right now, a quarter. Alright, this is down to milligrams. This is not down to milligrams everywhere. There's 7 grams here. This is about to, there it goes. Now let's switch over to milligrams. Alright, we don't have to sit there and watch that. Is there something else for us to work towards while we're doing that? Is this cobalt? It is. There's a little bit of cobalt right here that we haven't gotten to. I am thinking of separating these liquids. We could also just delete the liquid that we don't want down here, which is the ethanol and the oil, but there is a lot of both. Seven cycles. Half a cycle, we're about to have more. 3 cycles, headphone just died. So we're definitely at our 4-hour mark. Because my headphones pretty much have a 4-hour battery. We're almost down to micrograms. At least for the polluted oxygen, we're almost down to micrograms. Much longer for this. About a quarter of a day. By the time the day ends, we should have this erupting. Okay, so what I'm gonna do up here is turn all of this onto a 9. Except for that. Because I want this to be filled in a lot quicker than it currently is. Yeah, this is down to micrograms now. Not over here though. That's at 20 milligrams. Here comes the magma. I'm still debating on dropping it over here. We would have a lot of things melt as we go over, though. So maybe we don't do that. Alright, and now we're just waiting for this to cool down 200 degrees, almost 300 degrees. Now that we have this on a 9, they're actually emptying bottles. Which should help out around the colony. So, I think we're going to end it here. With this almost emptied. Ready to go. This should still be having oil dropped off to it. Which it looks like it did have another thing of it dropped off since the petroleum moved around. Again, it's okay that it turned into petroleum because when it gets soaked up, it should go to the same place, or it will, I mean. Alright, so let's do our usual of a screenshot. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to catch me live, I stream on Twitch on Wednesdays and Fridays from 10 AM EST to 12:30 PM EST, and on Sundays from 10 AM EST to 2 PM EST.